Alright, this is just a quick video talking about how the homework works in MyLabs Plus. So this is an example. This is what question 2 of section 1.1 homework. The question is asking you to find the slope of this line. This is already in slope-intercept form, so this is a pretty easy question. But let's say I get it wrong. Let's say I say the slope is undefined here. Oh, you can't really see it because it's off the screen here. I pressed enter there, but alternatively, if you hit check answer, that works. So that's 2 times that I answered it incorrectly, and when I do a third time, it actually says what the correct answer is here. You can see it says the slope is 2.3, and at this point, I've actually gotten the question wrong. I hadn't actually gotten the question wrong until this point. And if I just close this, you can see in my homework overview, that question is marked as incorrect. So coming to this question, I can actually, I tried essentially 3 attempts, because there were 3 times I got it wrong on that question. Then I can hit similar question. And what this does is generally it changes the numbers in the question and gives you more attempts. And let's say I continue getting it wrong. Let's say I said the slope is 1, and I get it wrong, okay. And then for some reason I think the computer didn't understand me, so I say it again. I say it again a third time louder. The computer still didn't understand me for some reason. And then I hit similar question again. So you can see now it says your instructor has limited the number of times you can work through this entire question to 3. This is your last attempt. So if I got this wrong, if I got this question wrong yet again, so 3 more attempts, it would no longer give me the option for the similar question there. I'll go ahead and get it correct here. 2.5. Hit enter. Yeah, I got it right. Alright, so now when I pull up this, you can see that question is marked as correct. And that actually was, I now have full points from that question. So you already have a lot of attempts on each of these individual questions. The only time you won't get that many attempts is if it's a true or false question. If you get it, if there's only 2 options, if you get it wrong on that, it'll just mark it wrong. So, but it's only true or false, so you should be able to correct that pretty easily. If you do end up using up all of your attempts and you can no longer click similar question, send me an email and I will give you more attempts. The only reason I have a limitation there is because I kind of want to get a heads up when people are really struggling that much with the material. If you start having that many issues with it and you're getting it wrong again and again and again, I want to have the option, I want to be able to intervene. So I will give you more attempts, but I'll just try to figure out what's going on, why it's taken you that many attempts, and I'm going to try to clear up the misunderstanding. Alright, so that's how the homework works. I should say there is a late submission penalty for the homework. Any questions that you submit after the due date, this is due on the 20th. So let's say I wait to the 21st and I didn't do the last 2 questions. I do those on the 21st. Then that means those last 2 questions, instead of getting 1 point from each of them, instead of getting whatever they're worth, I would only get 80% of what they would have been worth. So that's what this 20% deducted from questions completed after the due date. This will not hurt the points that I already earned from other questions. So question 2 I already finished here. I got full credit for it. If I came back and worked on question 14 after the due date, it would not reduce the credit that I earned from question 2. I would only gain more based on how well I did on question 14. Let's see. Let's talk about quizzes. So quizzes, how they work. Let me pull it up here on the correct screen. How quizzes work is you kind of have to go through and answer all of them at once. So it says start test. You have 50 minutes. It shouldn't take you anywhere near that long, hopefully. You'll go through and answer the questions. Let's say this is 2.2. I'll hit next question. I don't know if that's correct or not. I'll hit next question. Let's do undefined because I don't really feel like doing anything there. ASDF, yeah, I'm guessing that one's wrong. And let's do 3x plus 3. I'm guessing that one's wrong too. Alright, there's 10 questions here. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go ahead and hit submit quiz. Of course, I didn't finish all the questions, so it gives me a warning. But I'll submit it anyway. At this point, you can see the first 2 questions I got correct. Questions 3, 4, and 5 I got incorrect, and then the rest were left unanswered. I can review this this quiz. It calls it a test in here, but whatever. I can review it. I can see what answers I gave. And I can also, on questions that I got them incorrect, I can actually see what I answered. I clicked on the slope is undefined, but the correct answer on this one was, you can see it's green for showing that it's correct. The correct answer is that the slope is 4. I clicked the slope is undefined. So you can go through here and get what the correct answers are. This one, I answered ASDF. I had to click on this in order to see what my answer was. I answered ASDF. The equation of the line was actually, well, not ASDF. Imagine that. Alright, so you can review your quiz there. If you've closed it, or you're coming back to it later on, this is what the Your Grades section is good for. One of the things. You can see quiz 1. I can review the quiz from down here as well. Again, it popped up on the wrong screen, so pulling that down. You can see this is the exact attempt that I just took. And I can close that again. So in the Your Grades section, you can see I got 1 out of 25 points for the first homework. I got 3 out of 38 points for that quiz. If I wanted to, so you'll notice I didn't get the opportunity to make corrections to that quiz. Because I have multiple attempts, though, this is going to be only 3 attempts, I will have only used up 1 of my 3 attempts. So if I was to click on this, I would be able to then take it again. I don't know why things keep popping up there. Alright, so it would then say 1 of 3 attempts used. I can use a second attempt by hitting Start Test again. And it reformulates the entire quiz for me. And I can go through the entire quiz and redo it again. So, and there we go. That's an easy one. 2.4. Okay. I'll hit submit. Submit quiz. You'll notice I got a worse score on this attempt. So I only got 1 out of the 38 points instead of 3 out of 38. But the way these quizzes are graded, or the way that your grade is calculated, only the highest attempt counts. So this one right here, this is the one that's actually being used to figure out how well I did here. You can see my quiz average, my quiz score right here is 7.89%. That's the 7.89% I got on this attempt. It's completely ignoring this attempt because it was a lower score. So there's really no penalty, no risk in retaking a quiz. You might be able to do better, but you're not going to lower your grade if you need to retake the quiz. So I do recommend, and maybe even if you get a good score, but go ahead and plan on going through those quizzes several times, especially if you're if you're struggling with the material. Don't just go in and redo the quiz after you do it the first time. Go back to the homework, back to the book, back to the videos, figure out what you're misunderstanding, and get that corrected before you come back and retake the quiz. Because otherwise, if you haven't learned any new information, you're probably not going to do much better on the quiz. So definitely be smart about your time there. Don't just retake a quiz without being any better at the material. You're probably not going to get a better score. Alright, so I'll leave it at that. Oh, yeah, also, I won't leave it at that because I wanted to talk about tests as well. Your tests are going to be in a similar format to the quizzes. You'll go through the entire test all at once. You'll submit it, but the difference is you'll only get 1 attempt at your test. So you want to make sure you have a good mastery of the material before you attempt your test. You can submit your scratch work when you complete your test. So make sure your scratch work is legible. Make sure that the individual questions are labeled, things are laid out in such a way that I can actually follow it. Because if you send me, I've gotten scratch work where there's numbers written all over the page, and I can't really tell what any work has to do with any of the problems on the test. I'm probably not even going to try, because it's, if you can't put in the effort of trying to make it so I can follow through, it kind of doesn't really seem like that's something, if you don't value it, whatever. In any case, you can submit your scratch work, and where the scratch work will come in handy is if there's anywhere that you can earn partial credit with your scratch work, is what I'm trying to say. So let's say you don't get the question exactly correct because the website is really picky and you said 2.1 instead of 2.2 because you forgot to round up. The website would give you 0 points for that question. But if you submitted your scratch work and I looked at it and said, oh, well, you got everything correct, you just rounded incorrectly, you would probably get almost all the points. You probably still lose something because you did make a mistake, but you get the vast majority of the points. So if you're the type of person who feels scratch work is useful, which you should read as everyone should think scratch work is useful, you should definitely write your scratch work in a legible way and submit it when you complete your test. I will make a place on Moodle for you to submit that scratch work. It has yet to be done, so I can't show it to you now, but I will bring it up at a later date.